Hello, friends. It's been a while, I guess almost a couple of weeks, so I put together a whole bunch of different scenes from around the farm, hoping to capture the kinds of things we've been doing. It's been really productive, and it usually is. We usually do make progress every day, and every day we acknowledge it at night. Dina and Cliff and I all look at each other and say, we had a good day. And a good day for us is obviously nobody dying and obviously no one getting hurt and actually feeling like we made some progress. When you're working this close with horses and nature, there's always that unpredictable element of you don't have the control you wish you could have over every single moment and thing. I wanted to talk a little bit about, or share a little bit about, from my very worn out book of Linda Kavanov's Way of the Horse. She has this amazing book called Way of the Horse, Linda Kavanagh, and it's called Equine Archetypes for Self-Discovery. I've had this book for many, many years, and every time I'm feeling a little bit lost or a little bit out of my ability to describe what we live with here, I go to her book and I open to any place in the book, and it always has exactly the right information or advice for me. And today I opened up to the chapter Kairos, which is very much rooted in the Greek mythology, like so much of her stuff is, but it was perfectly describes for me again what this sense of being in the flow or out of the flow, how to get there, when you're there, how to describe being there. So let me just read here. It says, the journey. The ancient Greeks had two concepts of time. Chronos is linear time, was measured by clocks, calendars, and date books. Kairos, on the other hand, was more elusive. The youngest child of Zeus, Kairos, was sometimes depicted with winged feet, alighting precariously on a sphere. That great old storyteller Aesop had him balancing on the razor's edge, bald but with a lock of hair in his forehead. If you grasp him from the front, you might be able to hold him, but once he has moved on, not even Jupiter himself can pull him back. This is the symbol of Kairos, the brief moment in which things are possible. While this agile Greek god was depicted as a handsome young man, the equestrian arts thrive on Kairos moments. It takes tremendous skill to balance on a powerful, at sometimes fast-moving horse, leaping over obstacles, coordinating your own body to cue complex movements in a split-second window of time the animal needs to process and execute your request. Here I'd just like to add that driving is very much like this too. When you're driving through things, around things, in the middle of things, it takes a lot of skill and kairos, I guess you could say, where you're in between time. Like Chief Philip would say, horses aren't on time, they're in time. And syncing up with them can have a profound effect on us. Sometimes called horse time, kairos moments also occur when you let go of human agendas and cultivate responsiveness. In Nicholas Evans' 1995 novel, The Horse Whisperer, the main character kneels down in a field with his traumatized subject, waiting patiently on an entire afternoon before the horse slowly walks over to him and nuzzles his shoulder. The relationship improves exponentially. Loading a colt onto a trailer for the first time is yet another case where patience is a virtue. If you're willing to devote 2 hours to the project, the youngster may very well walk on in 2 minutes. If you pressure him to leap on right there, it might take you all day. Arguably, the most difficult skill to teach in horse training, timing is a major factor in human relationships. Noting when someone is receptive and acting before the moment passes involves equal parts self-control, discernment, grace, and abandon. Sometimes you just can't quite muster the courage to act when the first Kairos moment comes your way, and so you must wait for another opening or suffer the consequences. Let's say a couple of colleagues feel that you've dropped the ball on a project, causing them extra work. They plan incessantly what they're going to say for days, yet miss numerous opportunities to communicate during staff meetings itself. Finally, as everyone's packing up and heading for home, you feel a sudden surge of desperation in the room, and these two friends, who seemed sedate yet preoccupied all afternoon, awkwardly confront you at the door. What might have been a major glitch in your day suddenly turns into a hurtful exchange. Now, all of a sudden, something that could have been handled constructively becomes a long-term point of contention, simply because these people didn't have the nerve to speak when the opportunity arose, nor did they have the self-control and fortitude for the wait for the next appropriate moment. I've been very guilty of this, speaking outside the book here. I don't always find the moments, or I'm too pushy or actually impatient for the right moments, and it comes out all wrong. And part of it is my own frustration with my own brain. So I think all of us can relate to finding these moments and using them effectively. Here we open a whole new can of temporal worms, because people in conflict are notoriously out of sync. The next day, your colleagues apologize, but you're not ready to forgive, so you feel even less motivated to collaborate with them, and they end up amassing more evidence that you are not as committed to the project as they are. And so the cycle continues. You feel betrayed by them, they don't trust you, productivity drops, the office gossip mill heats up while others can't help but take sides. After a while, your supervisor can't decipher who started it or who's at fault. The simple truth of the matter is both sides failed to grasp those Kairos moments with greater understanding that could have been achieved. Luckily, horses don't hold grudges when you miss the proper timing of a request and get a lower score on your dressage as a result. These animals live in Kairos time, always open to the next meaningful opportunity for harmony and communication without holding on to what could have been. Every once in a while, your timing is just right. The two of you hit the zone where time seems to disappear altogether, and you're riding in a heightened state of awareness, riding or driving. That sacred time where you suddenly feel in sync with the universe, where the reward becomes much more profound than simply the blue ribbon. It may last for a minute or an hour, but the elation is indescribable. Yeah, that's describes life on the farm in a lot of ways. Finding the right moments to do things, to express things, trying to get into a center of knowing where you feel like you can be coherent and express. Luckily, we live in an ongoing experiment for us, all the humans here, to practice these particular kinds of moments of grace. We're always trying to find the middle way, or the good way, or the right way, or the timing for things. And I think so much of this wanting to do this, live in this way, comes from living directly with the horses, realizing that we can't push our way into anything. And for a vision like this, that has so many moving parts and so much to do to realize it, we can only do it these steps at a time and trying to find the most balanced way, because we would have long burned out a long time ago if we let every single moment bring its kind of intensity on us. So in that way, we do better and better and better. This little pearl in her feet. We really, really are looking for support lately. We want our business to do better. It needs to do better for us, for our well-being and our ability to do what we do. We have a campaign right now of May the Horse Be With You, with a picture of Foxy on t-shirts. We're doing our best to share what we have. I really, really want for people to share our formula. it's such an incredibly powerful formula for healing soil, for restoring the soil, for finding that perfect balance of the nutrients the soil needs and the health it needs in order to withstand the onslaught of these environmental changes that we have and the toxicity that's been imposed on it. It's, all of our soil, all of our bodies have gone through a lot in this industrial age. And while there's a real need for us to be evolved and progressive, I would say, we also need to be super mindful of the things that move at different times in different ways. And nature and horses definitely need for us to wake up to this reality that not everything goes in the timing we construct for it. We're doing good. I want to say that always, because we're always grateful for these moments we get to be with horses, that we get to learn from them. And I feel like as much as we learn every day even more. This young man here is something to behold. Our farrier, Lucian, he's amazing. Even little Star loves him, and she doesn't quickly love any humans. There's Els growing up. There's Dina. She's one of the hardest working people I think I've ever known, and I've known so many hardworking people. I had this amazing opportunity and a moment of meeting my family. This is David, my daughter's father. They came to visit, and oh my gosh, it was amazing. I haven't seen either of them in a really long time. My daughter is amazing. David is amazing. My son is amazing. I just feel super blessed in that way. There's little Els at dawn out by herself in the field, where she goes to meet her dear friends that she really does think of as her friends. We're going to have an open farm day on July 27th. There's the boys every day coming more and more out of their shell. There's the cows and Cliff talking to Piper. And there's my little girl doing what she does. I just want to say thank you to everybody that stayed this long, and I hope it gave you something, a little insight into our lives here. I love that people actually watch these. It's, I don't feel like we're anything special, but we are. We are absolutely doing things outside of the box, and we are absolutely proving that you can do things whether or not you have the resources to do them, as long as there's a mindfulness that things are always moving forward in some way. As long as the horse's health and their well-being and our health and well-being are intact and actually stronger and better for our time together, then we'll always try. Here's my little dog. Gives me so much joy, and as she matures into the German Shepherd she's going to be, really kind of speechless and grateful. I think my time is just about up. This looks like an extremely long post, but if you're following us, this should give you a good insight into these last days, these last particularly hot days. Today seems to be a much easier day. It rained a lot last night. I love waking up and seeing puddles. That means the garden was getting everything it needs. Here's coming up my friend from the Netherlands, Bavaria. He sends me pictures. There's little Logan putting fly stuff on my Cooper. These kids are really, really special, getting this special experience of being with the animals. I think it's a relief for them to be with the animals here who love them and reciprocate the good feelings. The little kids get to, for the time they're with them, experience something real and true and not as hectic and at a different speed, and can share a lot of love. There's Diego plotting and planning, and there's Fox. Like I said, a lot of time spent up in the front there looking for friends. And there's Sparky playing music, which they all love. I was really happy to see Mario standing there during her little music session, and Punch particularly loved it. She's playing the little guitar for them and singing a song to them. And she's got fans. Sparky is an old family friend that comes to visit every once in a while and helps greatly on the farm, even beyond what we really want for her to help, because it's physically hard. But she pushes through. It just seems to be something we share in how we push ourselves and then have to chill out and regain our strength again. Sparky is a gem, like every other being on this farm, putting in her part, putting in her love, putting in her light, just like all of you are. Thank you for sharing your time, and I'm hoping that these incredibly difficult, confusing, conflicted times we're in, socially, environmentally, economically, that they're being kind to you, or you're being kind to yourself.